Okay, so this is going to be my ode to the current situation in Ukraine, and sending out my love to all those caught up in the strife and the trouble. So this will be my blue tiger with sunflowers to send my message of love out into the world for all those suffering and that need to have some of that healing energy arrive. So I'm just going to begin by painting the first layer in of my sunflowers in the background. Just using Tuscan Sun as the base layer of these Prizm Pour paints, which I really love using. They have a beautiful lustrous sheen to them. They're lovely to work with. And I really enjoy them. So like I said, just starting with a base layer to get these sunflowers on. Need to keep a close eye on where my tiger finishes and what is sunflower and what is tiger on these edges. I probably went a little bit heavy-handed with my grey lead sketch, because there's a fair bit of graphite moving around the canvas paper that I'm using, but all will be fine in the end. It'll all sort itself out by the time I get enough layers of paint on. I wanted to just block these sunflowers in to start with so that I didn't get confused by any of the lines that I'd drawn for my tigers moving forward in the painting. So by blocking in the colour, it just helps guide me as to which lines I should be painting with which. I don't normally do such a detailed background. I normally concentrate only on my animals when I paint, but I was just really drawn to create this one with the world events. I personally am trying not to focus on the negative and just send out lots of love and healing to Ukraine, also to Russia, because the Russian people also need the love with what's going on, and to the rest of the world as well, because it's affecting so many of us around the world. So yeah, sending out that love and healing energy right across the world to all at the moment. So as I said, I'm just filling in the sunflowers at present, just to get that base layer of colour down. Just helps me moving forward to identify what bits are my sunflowers and what bits tiger. I personally find painting very calming, very soothing, and use it for my own mental well-being and my own mental health. It helps me, doing this helps me process what's going on in my life and the world around me. Often while painting, solutions to any issues I'm having will come to me. Those sort of things. But I just felt a real calling to dedicate this one to the current situation, and was really urged to the colours of blue and yellow and the sunflowers today. So I'm following that call and putting this out there in the world, full of love and healing. So at present I am just continuing to fill in these sunflowers. And not doing anything much else with them, just this first base layer. Extra careful to make sure that I only paint the parts that are sunflower. The last thing I want to do is paint a bit of yellow into my tiger's ear or something like that. That would not be a great look for him. But I think the sunflowers are going to make a gorgeous backdrop this beautiful tiger. Tigers in general tend to be solitary animals, so I'm hoping that their strength and courage goes out to all those who need it at present. If anyone is feeling alone and isolated, they can call on the tiger spirit to give them comfort and guidance and walk beside them as they need. Still continuing on, just filling in the basis of these sunflowers. I said, I think I've definitely been a little bit heavy-handed with my graphite pencil in doing my sketch, so I may have to add in some more opaque colours to help dissipate those harsh graphite lines that I'm going to get left with. But we'll work that as the painting goes on. These Prizm Pour paints that I'm using are made in America. By a wonderful company called Color Art. Color Art specialise in all types of paints with paints and pigments that are high in mica content, so create the most amazing and beautiful sheen and shine whenever you use them. And I felt that there was nothing more glorious than a beautiful shiny painting that glistens and sheens and shines for the message I'm trying to get across with this particular painting. So I thought they were most appropriate choice. Color Art creates resin pigments, acrylic enamel paints such as these beautiful Prizm Pours. They create also what they call primary elements, which are just sheerly jars of mica pigments or pigments with mica, which mix up into amazing paints, or you can mix them into any sort of enamel or acrylic based polymers or mediums to give you some fabulous products to use. The wonderful thing about primary elements is, of course, they have no shelf life, because it is the substances or the mediums in which you mix them into that have shelf lives. The pigments themselves do not have a shelf life, so you can have them forever. You don't have to worry about them drying out or anything of that nature in any regard, which is truly fabulous for those that don't use their paints as often as somebody like me, who is using them every day and is concerned about paint wastage. So, almost finished the first layer of these flowers, just to block in where their colour zones are and identify what's tiger and what's flower. And then we'll come back and do some more work on them. I I'd like to encourage everybody to be sending out love and healing to the rest of the world at present. As well, I think it's the best thing that we can all do right now. Is send out that love and healing. Just changing my mind on my sketch fractionally there. Just trying to work it out in my head. Just going with a slightly stronger colour for the first inner rim of my sunflowers. Like I said, at the moment I am literally just blocking colour in. The details and shading and everything will come in further layers. This is just my rough blocking in. This is the way I tend to like to paint. Just get down the base colour and then I'll come back in and do further layers with shading and all the details after I get this initial layer down. Everybody paints in their own fashion, of course, so you know we're all different in that way. I think it's really interesting. I was trying to recall, I don't believe I have ever painted sunflowers before. I've never had the urge in any way, shape or form to paint them until today. And the calling was so strong that I felt that I just had to I'll grab my paintbrush and get started straight away. Like I said, still just blocking in colour. It's a large part of what I do. The colour I'm currently using is called Golden Poppy. A beautiful golden yellow orange colour. Has a slight tinge towards orange. One of my favourite colours from the Prizm Pour range at present. I say at present because Colour Art keep coming out with new amazing colours all the time, so you never know what's going to be my new favourite. Because of that, because there's always these amazing new colours coming out, so can't say it's my definite favourite, but currently it certainly is high up there on my favourites list. Along with the gorgeous colour which is called Orange Crush. Absolutely amazing orange colour. Those of you that know me know that orange is my favourite colour. Such a bright, happy, cheery colour. And I am completely drawn to it at all times. Get some bit more shading and depth happening on these sunflowers now. So I'm going to use some opaque white because some of the Prizm Pour colours tend to be a little bit translucent. But I'm going to use some opaque white to help remove the graphite pencil lines, so that I can achieve the looks I want to get on my sunflowers. So I will just place a little opaque white along the lines. Just one easy way to remove that. I probably could have just hand painted the sunflowers without sketching them in, but it's just a habit of mine. I tend to like to have a complete sketch. before I start painting. And also in doing that, it also allows me the opportunity, if I so choose, to be able to supply that sketch if I want to turn my project, my piece, into a teaching opportunity in the future, so that my students will benefit from having a copy of the original sketch to paint along with. So it's probably why I've gotten into that habit of sketching everything out first. Rather than relying on my paintbrush to sketch things out. So the white paint will be enough to take that graphite pencil down to where it will no longer be noticeable, even though I'm only doing light coats of the white. It'll be enough. The whole time I'm creating this painting, I am sending out love and light to all those in the world that need it at present. Like I said, it was just a calling that I had to create this piece, and send out this loving healing to the world at large. If we all just take our time, just a few minutes, and send out love and peace to the world, will help raise the vibration of the world in general at the moment. Which we really need to do. So I'm hoping you'll all join me in sending those vibrations out into the world. We need to abate any fear and hatred that's being felt out there at present. And just send the messages of peace and love. Just realised I missed a yellow petal there, so I'll have to go back and fix that. cover completely on my sunflower. So just moving along slowly here. Like I said, I'm putting opaque white paint over the graphite pencil lines because I felt my pencil lines were too harsh and heavy, and the Tuscan Sun Prizm Pour paint is a little translucent, so the harsh pencil lines are showing through too much, and the opaque white paint helps with coverage of that those harsh graphite pencil lines. Just a little trick to get around things and make them the way you want them to be when you're creating. Acrylic paint is fabulous for these sorts of things. You can always manage to cover something up using either an opaque white or even a gesso if you so need to. Very versatile and very great tools for beginners to know about. It doesn't matter what you do with acrylic paint, you should be able to correct anything with a bit of gesso or another layer of paint. So it's just one way. Another good way is not to use such a soft graphite pencil to sketch out your original sketch, which is probably what I should have done, but didn't realise at the time. So I wasn't going to draw out another sketch and waste this piece of canvas. I am painting on a piece of canvas today. So I'm working with the sketch even though it's in the stronger graphite pencil drawing, because there's always a way to deal with those things. Another alternative would simply be to turn this into more of a line drawing, in which I could use a acrylic paint pen and literally outline those graphic lines, those graphite lines. Anytime that you outline your drawing with a black line like that, it gives you more of a cartoony feel rather than a realistic image. But it's certainly one way you could choose to go. I, however, am choosing to go with a bit more realism, as opposed to cartoony animated painting for today, so I am choosing to use the white paint to help me cover those harsh graphite lines that I created in my sketch. As you can see, hopefully you can see in the video the difference that the white paint is making to take those back. And knock them back into the background so they're not so strong and harsh. If I wanted to get rid of the graphite marks completely, I'd probably need to do a couple of coats of white paint because they're extremely strong, but I'm pretty sure in general the one coat will be enough to knock it back. That's my kitty cat. I don't know if you can hear her in the background meowing at me, wanting to say hello. I think it's her cuddle time. And she's wanting some love. What are you doing? Hey, Cleopatra. Psst, psst. Psst, psst. Come here. Hey, Missy? What are you doing? Come on. Psst, psst. She has a little bed next to me to sit on while I create. But she's just been a bit vocal today. Come here. What are you doing? Let's see if we can't settle her down. There you go. You sit up there next to me. Be a good girl. Sit on your bed. Have a snooze. Let Mummy paint. Okay. Good girl. She's definitely feeling the need for some love at the moment too. Of these lines that I find are really strong, I'm just going to put a second coat over. So I don't want them taking over my image. Claire's now trying to come right up. Where do you want to go? You've got your bed, sit down there. Be a good girl. Using one of these moods, she wants to be really close. You can't go up on there, there's wet paint. Hop down. She's going to give me grief because she doesn't have my full attention. Hop down before you get paint all over you. Hop down. Sit on my lap, you can sit on my lap. I do think your bed is more comfy though. Good girl. There you go, I'll give you a pat. finally she starts to settle down, which is fabulous. Let me get on with things. The other benefit of adding the white over those graphite lines is it gives different shades and depths to your petals, which is really cool. So I'm currently just adding shading and highlight to the petals. The petals that are further back, of course, I'm giving a coat with the darker colours. The ones in the front, I'm giving another coat with the lightest colour that I'm using, which is the sour lemon, to show that they are in the foreground. And above the other colours, I'll also mix up some even lighter shades by adding a little bit of white. To help bring those highlights even more forward. And use it along the edges of some where a petal is half over and half under, so it may be over one other petal and yet under another, so it would be half light, half dark. Just so that we can get those flowers looking 3D. And give them some real life. It only takes a very, very small amount of paint to create these shadows. So I hope you can notice that I'm only dipping in the little corner of my brush to lay a lot of this colour down. It doesn't need a lot of paint at all, especially since I already did that base layer. It's another reason for doing the base layer. You can then just add your touches that you require over the top to finesse. The look that you're going for. So each petal can have both shadows and highlights on the same thing, on the same petal, being over and under the associated or its neighbour petals. So I'm just going to continue working in this fashion until I get all the flowers done. You'll see I don't tend to wash out my brush very much. It's just a way I like to work. I often will use a dirty brush. I really enjoy the mixing of the colours in the piece I'm working on as I'm working it. It's just my preference to things. So yeah, like I said, you'll see me often using the dirty brush and rarely cleaning it. I often wipe off excess of one colour onto a rag before I dip into another colour that I want to use, or if my brush gets too dried up with paint that's starting to dry, then I'll rinse it out. I really do prefer to just use the brush as is with my colours. You can see getting much more depth into these beautiful sunflowers now, into their petals, just by layering the paint up. just the tiniest little bit of black, so I'm taking a lot of it off. I'm using the corner of my flat brush, just the very corner, to create the little dots. For my sunflower ring. So this isn't pure black that I'm using, it's black mixed with the golden poppy colour, just to give me a browny blackish colour, but one that is tonally in line with what I have already created in this portion of the sunflower. Anytime my corner becomes too flattened, I literally wipe it back flat in the paint, like so, and that'll give me the sharp point again to keep creating the little dots. And you'll see that I flip over the paintbrush every so often to use the other corner to get the paint out of that corner as well. So these are just vague little spots that I'm putting in. As a starting base for the dots on my sunflower. Mixing up some more paint, this time stronger, so it has a little bit more black in it. And I'm going to use this to put in the little gaps between the petals. Occur those little dark shadows that hide in between those petals, just coming off the center of the sunflower. I'm going to add a tiny bit of water to my brush, just to water that down a little, because I want to put a little glaze of this darker colour over my centre. And while I have that, I'm going to put it over the other centres as well. And the reason I'm doing this is I want that centre golden colour to be shaded more, so that when I put the black dots over it to create the actual centre, it won't be such a huge contrast in colour. It will be much closer to, in tonal value, to the black centre dots of my sunflowers. So as I said previously, I am continually putting out love and healing to the world while creating this piece, which is very much speaking to me today. I've just realised I missed doing the centre bit here. This little flower. So we're just going to come back in with that. I'll give that a minute, then I will put the watered down colour over that as well. But starting to get there with my sunflower, this one in particular. In over here while we wait. That other one to dry. They are very random. So try not to get too concerned about how you apply them. You'll see I twist my paintbrush around, that way I keep it, if my dots do get a little liney from being done by a flat brush, the lines are going in different directions rather than staying dots. I could use a spotter brush for this. However, if I do that, I have to dip into the paint so much more often. A little spotty brush doesn't hold much paint, whereas I find if I do it this way with the corner of my flat brush, it actually holds more paint and I can get a lot more dots out of it before I have to go and re-dip. And that way I tend to get a lot more variety in shade and shape too. Mix up a bit more paint. My brush is getting a little dried out, so time to rinse it off and come back and do some more. Continue on doing some shading of the different petals. The wonderful thing about painting is that you can spend as much or as little time as you really want when you're creating a painting. I personally love to spend hours on end just doing layer upon layer upon layer. I know other people that love to just create really quickly and are really good at that. I love to finesse all the super fine details through layers and layers of paint. That's just what makes me feel good. And that's how I tend to work, and I think that's what helps my mental health, doing it as well this way, taking the time to work through everything. Those of you like me who are sensitive to the energies in the world at the moment are probably, like myself, struggling a little to deal with the current situation. And this is why I've been drawn to create this piece today, to get it out there in the world and get the message of love out there in the world. I think that's an extremely important message at present to spread across the world. And I would really invite any of you that are like me to spread that out into the world. By doing the things that we love and setting our intention to put love out there into the world, we are going to help the world heal. And globally we can raise the vibration of the planet, which is what we need at the present time. The more of us that get behind this and put it out there, the higher we will be able to raise the vibration of the planet. just adding shading to the lower petals at present on this one. Because they would naturally be shaded by the petal that sits above them. No matter how subtly, they would still have that slight shading on them. So just trying to portray that. The brush I'm using at present, if you're interested, is a Princeton Select. I quite like these brushes for acrylic painting. They have a nice semi-firm bristle. Hold the paint well. I find the bristles bounce back well, even if you're a little harsh on your brushes like I tend to be when I'm acrylic painting. I tend to give my acrylic brushes a bit of a beating the way I use them. But I find these ones are really good and take what I dish out, which is wonderful. Just filling in that portion of the center there with the golden poppy. You'll see I have a very bad habit of just removing cat hair there. Cleopatra, lovely of her to leave that for me. You'll see I have a very bad habit of going back and back to portions that I have done. I do like to continually layer up, even if that section has pretty much been dealt with of my painting. It's how I would work, and I will continually go back to them until I declare it's finished. So I might decide that I need extra shading or a bit deeper or another layer, and I do this all pretty much intuitively. I just follow wherever spirit takes me at the time, and that's how this painting has come about today. It was not what I was originally planning on painting today. I was originally planning on painting the tiger, and I had this tiger sketched out to be painted today. However, The sunflowers was a late addition. I literally drew them in this morning over the tiger because I had an unbelievably strong call to do that, and to put this message out there in the world at the moment. So I just am following the guidance that I was given from Source this morning, and going with that. We always work better. We work in alignment with Source. The more aligned we are, the stronger and better our lives will be, and the happier we ourselves will be. Something I've come to learn a lot about over the last few years. And something I knew pretty much nothing about a few years back. To say that I am more aligned with Spirit than I have ever been, and I am more happy in general than I have been in many, many years. It is the only way to live your life, in my opinion, and I really want to share that with everybody. The more we can get people back to their true selves, and better off our planet will be. For those of you who are unaware, apart from my art and creating beautiful animal paintings, beautiful colourful animal paintings I should say, because I like to paint my animals in the colours that I see them in. Not necessarily in their natural state, because I often see them in different colours. That just comes to me intuitively, so I go with it. Apart from that, I have been trained in reading the Akashic records, and really enjoy that work a lot. I love helping people through any issues and situations they're going through the Akashic records work. love guiding people to meet their spirit animal guides. I have a real affinity with the animal spirit guides, and I love helping introduce others to their animal spirit guides. And I even offer a service now where you can meet your animal spirit guide. I'll take you on a guided journey to meet your animal spirit guide, and I can capture that animal spirit for you in a glorious painting as well, in a lovely bespoke painting, if that's something you'd like to have to immortalize and have with you as a constant reminder that your animal spirit guide is there with you whenever you need, and that you can call on them whenever you need to. So they're just a few of the services that I offer currently out there. Along with the odd painting teaching class and things of those nature also. I am one of those multi-passionate women whose passions do not lie in just one thing. I've always loved helping people all my life. Back in the day, I did my nursing training and became a nurse. That was drawn by the urge to help others. And although I no longer nurse, I still do love to help people through my Akashic Records work, and find that that can offer great spiritual healing. Urge to help my fellow humans has always been very strong in me, and I've pretty much worked all my life in some form of helping others with various things, whether it be in my nursing, in the medical industry, in which I also worked in for a long time, and then I went into teaching of arts and crafts, and using that to help others in a different way. And now I've gone on even further into my art, providing beautiful art to restore people's souls and give them calm and solace and joy, and also to into my Akashic Records work now to offer actual healing of Akashic wounds and past life traumas. Along with my current studies in offering healing and coaching for those that require it. I'm currently working on my latest certification in those studies and loving every minute of it. I've just mixed up a paler orange-ish colour, because often the sunflowers petals are a little bit deeper around the centre, so I just wanted something to differentiate a little bit coming out of there and fading up the petals. Just to give them a little more depth again. So then by putting this bright yellow again over the top of them, that'll help blend that and just leave a subtle difference showing. On the petals. These are all things that might not show hugely well on the video, but in real life, in person, you can see all these subtle differences and changes in the colours when you do this sort of thing. So again, mixing up a dark. What's going on with the corner of my brush there? Wanting to fill in some of those dark shaded areas that appear, like in between the petals and so forth. Just letting them ever so gently. And no shadows come up between the petals. I'm not 100% sure as yet what I'm going to do with this video. I am recording it in hyperlapse, and it will go up as part of my 100-day project, like all my other 100-day offerings. But I am thinking that I may actually end up putting it on my YouTube channel and sharing the whole process and the whole video as my gift to the world. It's a calling I'm starting to feel is the right way to go. So there's a good chance you may be watching it via YouTube and listening to my ramblings on as I paint and create. If that be the case, I hope you're enjoying it. And I hope you're getting something out of it. It will probably go up in a few segments, not just the one video, because I take a long time creating my paintings. But you get to follow along if you wish. With a couple of bombs getting in there. Interestingly, I'm listening outside to the wet weather. I didn't realise it had rained here yet, but I can hear the cars going past and the water, the wet roads as they go past, so I'm assuming it has rained some. I was unaware. I know a lot of my fellow Aussies north have been having a terrible time with the weather, and again my heart goes out to them. I'm sending them all lots of love and good vibes, and wishing them safety and they all stay nice and safe in this these trying times for them, because the rain has been relentless and the flooding in some areas has been dreadful. Video. I hope it brings you some comfort during your difficult times. they're starting to look like sunflowers, which I suppose is good since that was the plan. It's crazy, no matter how many paintings I do, I still get quite amazed that I'm able to achieve the results and the effects that I do. No matter how many times I create beautiful paintings, I still am ever amazed by each and every one at how well they turn out. I don't know if that's because I let my intuition just guide me in the paintings, and I just follow source direction, so that I too am a little surprised by the results at the end, or I don't know what it is that drives that feeling. Just adding a little bit of white to this edge, that's the upper edge, because that will help give depth to the painting, to the petal, showing that it is in front of the previous petal, etc. It's just one way to help define the layering of the petals. Use a dry brush to help blend out when I do this sort of painting. This sort of shading and toning and lightening. I find a dry brush is great to take away those harsher edges and blend that tone back in. To the rest of the piece. So yeah, these are the things that I like to do and the way I like to work. If you don't enjoy listening to my commentary, of course you have the options to silence me in your own world there. If my commentary doesn't bring you peace, been here again. She obviously left me a lovely couple of hairs. We just don't want those in our painting. actually haven't really spent a lot of time paying attention to how other people go about creating their artworks. So don't be surprised if my methods are not what you're used to or not what you normally see, because I honestly wouldn't know if they are or they're not. These are just the ways which work for me. And like I said, I just follow my intuition in these matters, and can only share with you my ways of creating and doing. I've always been one of those people who hello, you're back. I've always been one of those people who used to sign up for all the classes, and I, back in the day, did sign up for a lot of art classes, particularly online, but I was also one of those people who rarely ever did the classes I signed up for. You know, I thought I wanted to watch and learn from others, but as it turns out, I really just wanted to do my own thing. So I tended not to actually do the classes as such. Which I think is funny looking back on it now. But that's how it was. Or is. So yeah, I've signed up for a lot of people's classes over the years. And actually completed very few. Don't hop up there, Baba. No. Good girl. Cleopatra wanting to come back and join us. Just be putting this out there in the world and trusting in source that it will resonate and connect with those that it needs to. Because like I said, I was really called to alter this piece and put this out there. My brushes are getting a little dry and I'm running out of paint. when I wipe the paint like this, it's to actually get my flat brush back into a nice flat edge, so that I have that flat edge that I can create those sharp lines with, which can be very useful depending on the portion that I'm painting at the time. Tip I will give you when working with these Prizm Pour paints, you really need to let hold down. You really need to let one layer of paint dry before moving on to another layer. Otherwise, what can happen is you literally wipe off a layer of paint if you're trying to put another one on it before it has dried instead. The good thing is that they dry extremely quickly, so you don't have to wait long for that to occur. What do you want, Cleo? Come on, sit down and be a good girl. Yeah, sit down. No, you can't come on the table. Please excuse the interruption via cat. She is desperately wanting to jump up and be in the video today. Go on, sit down. Cuddle up on Mum today, big time, not on your chair next to me, hey? Just try putting you a little bit that way and see if that works. Please keep your head out of the picture. I don't know about anybody else that has to paint under such trying conditions, but I do love the affection of my animals. It tends to normally be Henry that's coming in and interfering in my videos and painting, but he is obviously off sleeping today or something, I don't know, and it's only Miss Cleopatra that wants all the attention. Can't put your head on my painting. That won't work, Missy. You don't seem to care. Okay, you put it on my arm instead. It will be interesting to listen back later and see if Cleopatra's purring is coming out across the video. But she is obviously feeling drawn to me today and what I'm creating. So we're just going to include her in. I have never been one to deny my animals a bit of love and affection when they're desiring it. Because everybody, animal and human alike, require some affection now and then. And who am I to deny them love when they need it? Interesting to know how many others of you out there have animals who demand your attention, such as Miss Cleopatra has done today. And I would love to hear about them, or even see a pic of them, if you felt so inclined to send me one. I'm totally drawn in by animals of all kinds. However, I do have an aversion to snakes. It was a fear that I carried over from a past life, and I am ever so greatly improved having learned that and dealt with that, but I still must admit they are not my favourite creature in the world. But one of my gorgeous nieces absolutely loves all things reptile, and I'm sure that her love for them greatly makes up for my feelings. Trying to add in a tiny little shadow in this petal here, the back petal. Just to help it appear to be in the back there. Ouch. You're digging your claws in, Missy. It's not acceptable. Good girl. Sit there. Mummy's hand will be here with you. Okay? Still there. Okay. Is that not good enough? I should point out or mention that Cleopatra actually has black and white whiskers. Don't you? Because she put her whiskers in my black paint one day, and it has yet to wear off. So she has these lovely white whiskers with shades of black on them from her painting endeavours. That was the same day that she walked black footprints all around my desk and my floor, that she decided that she wanted to step in my black paint that I had on my desk. So that was a fun experience. experience, and I still actually have those footprints on my floor. I have not been able to get it all off yet. Not that I've tried overly hard to remove it as yet. It's sort of cute. I just have to describe for you my current situation here. Cleopatra has a little bed spot that I have created that is sits in the drawer of my desk that I'm working on, so that she can have her own spot right next to me when she so desires. However, today, for whatever reason, maybe she's feeling the energy too, she has chosen that that is too far away and does not wish to sit in her little lovely bed that has been made for her, and is sitting on half of my chair with me because she can't get comfy on my lap because I am sitting over my desk trying to paint this piece for you all to see. She has decided that she is going to squish herself down the side of my chair beside me and take over half the chair. So I'm now sitting on half a chair with Cleopatra taking over the other half. Quite amusing, really. But as long as she feels happy and comforted, that is all that really matters right now. And I think it's lovely that she desires to be so close to me. I am definitely one of those people that you see that they make the memes about on Facebook and all of that, where you see people not wanting to move because their animals are comfy, and that sort of thing. That's the sort of owner I am with my babies. I am constantly working these petals here, trying to get the ones sitting above, that should be sitting above, etc., and just getting those shading and everything working on them so that they look like they're sitting where they need to sit, etc. Working them and working the colours. This brush that I'm currently using right this second is another Prizm Select brush, and this one is a round blender. I have this in a couple of sizes. This one is a 6, and it is probably one of my favourite brushes for blending acrylic paints. I love its scrubby nature and how I can literally roll and scrub that paint around when I apply it on. It is a fabulous brush. Can't recommend it highly enough. It is really quite an amazing brush. It does its job beautifully. You know, there are just some brushes you really enjoy using more than others, and this is definitely one. I tend to use a lot of flat shaders, as you've seen. I've pretty much stuck to this. I also like angle shaders, which was the other brush I was using. And you'll see when I come to do the tiger later on that I'll most likely use a filbert brush for the tiger as well. I like the larger filberts for laying down larger areas of colour. I find them really good for that. So these tend to be my favourite go-to brushes. For acrylic painting. Of course, when I do my watercolours, I have completely different brushes for that. I actually don't like the same brushes for watercolour and acrylic. I actually have different preferences. Strengthening some of the highlights. To give the petals more depth. And yes, highlights help to give a petal depth and shape. Just as much as the shadows do. It's the combination of the two that gives you the best results. So be aware of that as you're creating. just continuing to work on the highlights and the shadows. To bring these petals to life. The texture of the canvas that I'm using is actually quite rough, so sometimes I find that I need to dampen my brush a little to actually get the paint into all of the texture where I need it to go. But I actually really like the rough canvas for work with these Prizm Pour paints. They take to it really, really well. So that's why I choose to use that. So the further I'm going with this painting, the more I'm feeling the call to just put this out there as a freebie for the world. So I guess this will be going up in its entirety, full length, on my YouTube channel for all to enjoy and play along with if you like. I might even give you the opportunity, if you wish, to get a free copy of the paint along picture to go with it. But I'll have to sort that out and how I'll make that available to you. But I think I will, as a complete freebie. Just something to lift the vibration of the world at present. Because the more everybody does what they love and feels good, the higher the vibration of this planet, and the more we can all send out love to the world to heal. So I'm hoping all of those that this calls to today will resonate with what I'm trying to do. And will aid me in sending out love to the whole world. And raise that vibration like I mentioned earlier, I don't believe I've ever painted a sunflower before in my life, and I've never had any desire to paint a sunflower. I am not one of those painters who loves florals and botanicals, or loves painting florals and botanicals. I love admiring them, I should say. So yeah, being drawn to do this was definitely spirit guided, that's for certain. Definitely very spirit guided. At the moment I'm just currently doing a second layer of dots over the first layer to deepen this portion of the sunflower with the dotty centers. You can see I'm quite harsh on my brushes, like, don't know if you can pick that up, but you know, doing that sort of dot work is not great for the bristles of the brush, but it's how I work. And what I love about these Princeton brushes is I can add some more paint in, and by literally just flattening it, I can bring the bristles back to a beautiful, controlled, flat brush again. When I can now go back and start adding more dots to this little center over here. The cool thing about using the corner of a flat brush like this is, depending on how hard you touch the paper, determines the size of your dots, and it also makes them random. They're not all completely round, whereas when you tend to use a spotter, mostly you do get just round dots. The other thing that I am not so keen on with the dotter brush, the spotter brush, I do like the ununiformness of using the corner of my flat brush. I think it's more, how should I say, it brings things closer to what they would be like in nature. Nature is full of its beautiful imperfections, and they glorious. So yeah. The brush so that I can come in and put a little bit more into these dry islands. Too much. Too much extra paint when doing this portion. You just want the barest amount on your brush. And again, I have don't know if you can see that well, but I have spread the bristles of the brush so that I'm getting a patterned, you can probably see here better, patterned effect from my brush. So far with how these sunflowers are coming along. Like I said, this is my first time I've ever actually painted a sunflower. Never had the desire before, but the calling today was quite strong, and I have learned to follow those insights and callings, because I get my best results when I do so. So once upon a time I would plan out to the last detail all my paintings and so forth. Now I think the most planning I do is literally to, sorry about that, dropped my paintbrush, is literally to follow my sketch, draw out a sketch, and that's pretty much it. The rest from there, yeah, I do it on my own. I sketch from photographs, which are provided to me from many different sources. I am really fortunate to have some great friends who are fabulous photographers, who are happy for me to use their amazing work as reference photos. So I'd like to give a shout out to a couple of them. I have the wonderful Mandy Kinder, who is a wonderful photographer. She takes amazing photos, wildlife photos on her adventures out in the Aussie bush, mostly. So I am constantly getting some amazing images from her. She also, in her line of work, often goes on excursion visits to zoos and wonderful sanctuaries and places like that. So I am fortunate to be able to get some truly amazing animal photos from her, from those experiences as well. As well as her, the wonderful Del Hickey. He is a fabulous photographer who makes a living photographing mostly motorcycles and motorcycle events, getting them published in a lot of the bike magazines around the world. And motorbiking is another of my loves in this world. I own my own motorcycle and get much joy from riding it, and this is something that Del and I have in common. But he also takes amazing photos of animals and wildlife, and he has graciously allowed me to use his photos as inspiration also. And some of his wildlife pics are stunning, absolutely stunning. So I am truly grateful for my connection with him and his wonderful resource that he offers to me for my art creating. don't get me wrong, I do take many of my own photographs as well. Being the animal lover I am, I spend a lot of time at my local zoo here where I live, and I even to the point that I actually am a volunteer at the zoo also, for those of you unaware. So I spend a lot of time around the animals and draw my inspiration from them. And I also find that spending time amongst the animals helps ground me back here to earth, and helps elevate my mood, of course, as well. So yeah, they are probably the two people who I get the most inspiration from their photos. I have lots of other friends who will send me pics here and there, of which I love receiving, and love seeing their amazing animal photos, and I'm so grateful to each and every one of them for those, and the opportunity to add them into my photo collection for future paintings. I find them all so inspiring. So I just want to put out a huge thank you to everybody who does that to me. You are all way too many to name, but I do appreciate all that is given to me in this manner. I want to thank you all for that. It helps keep my spirits high and my love of painting alive. So yeah, I am just continually working on these sunflowers, which are getting ever more close to being finished. And I think I've decided that once I get these sunflowers finished, this will be the first video. I'll stop it here, because I have been going for quite a while, and we really don't want a 10-hour video. I don't know how I would ever get that uploaded. So yeah, thinking that it might be the perfect time, once I get these last couple of sunflowers done, to stop for now, and we'll come back in sections and work on the tiger or the rest of the background in another time. So again, just going through the motions of putting in the highlights and the shadows for each of the sunflower petals. Just working out which overlap where, what needs to be highlighted and what needs to be shaded. Pretty much your choices in where you put these highlights and shadows is literally deciding which petals are above which in this circumstance. anybody is interested in trying these amazing Prizm Pour paints from Colour Art, I do have a discount code that you can use to order some in. And I will put that in the description section for you if anybody is so inclined to want to try them out, remembering that I said they make amazing paints, not just for painting like I use them. Actually, most people don't tend to use them in this way that I use these particular paints. A lot of people love them and use them for paint pouring, which I have done in the past, but I am so much more called to do this type of artwork nowadays. This I just love how I can create with these particular paints in this manner. So yeah, but like I said, I'll put that discount code for you in the description below if anybody is so drawn to desiring to try these paints for themselves. I love them. I also love the fact that these paints are multi-surface paints, so you can paint with them onto just about any surface that you like, glass, wood, canvas, as I'm doing now, all sorts of surfaces. So that I think is an awesome benefit of these paints, and a big bonus. Sorry, I didn't like what I'd done there, so I literally just wet it down and wiped most of what I could away, and I'm going back in with another colour. Yeah, as I was saying, these Prizm Pour paints, because of their acrylic enamel base, you can use them on multiple surfaces very successfully, and I personally have used them on glass, plastic, wood, canvas, denim, all extremely successfully. I will say that using them on denim, some colours work much better than others because of their opacity. So the stronger, deeper colours work best. A lot of the lighter colours I found were a little too translucent to get their full colour on the denim. However, it did create a lovely shimmer effect on the denim. So that was pretty wild and pretty cool as well. So it just depends on what look you're after. But if you're going to work on denim, my suggestion would be to try that on a scrap first, so that you get a good idea of what the colours are going to come out like once you start using them directly on the denim. But yeah, that's just my suggestion. Oops, another hair from Cleopatra. We'll just get that out of the way. For those who are interested to know, she's still sound asleep right beside me on half of my chair, which is actually not the greatest comfort for myself, but I am happy to share my chair with her. So getting ever so closer to finishing off these sunflowers. Just working on the last wee little petals that need attention. And it looks like I've got one more sunflower there to finish. And I also need to finish the full-on centers. I haven't done that yet either. Getting there very slowly, but we're getting there. I have, like I said, decided to go along with the calling that I received to put this out there in the world for you all to enjoy and play along if you so desire. So anybody wishing to do that, there will be details for you in the comment section, description section below the video, now that I've made that decision. You can watch and paint along. Hopefully you can let me know what you thought of it. I'm putting this out there in the world from a place of love, and I'm hoping that all of you will do the same and just continually send out that love into the world and help raise the current vibration of the planet. If enough of us send out those good vibes of love and the vibration of love out into the world, we will raise the planet's vibration as a whole, and that will help all the things that are occurring in the world at present. So I am again asking you all to join me in that endeavour. Put it out there. I personally never listen to the news. I don't like listening to the news. They only ever portray the negatives of what's occurring in our world. And I do not enjoy that at all. You soon learn about everything that's occurring in the world quick enough by everybody's social media and so forth, without having to actually watch the news itself. And even just listening to everybody's social media posts and everything has been more than enough negative energy for me to cope with at present. And I'm hoping that offering this happy and joyful painting tribute will help raise your spirits also, and help you feel lifted and bring you back into more alignment with your source connection via those higher vibrations of love and peace and joy. And I felt this was one little thing I could do at this present time to help with that. Pretty happy with how they're looking now. Just getting some stronger yellow in a couple of places. Okay. That's pretty good. remembering that when I use these paints, like I said, I often put white down when I want to get the colour across stronger over something else, because some of them are, particularly a couple of these yellows are quite translucent, which creates for beautiful finishes when I'm layering them. The translucency, and you put layer upon layer, gives you some amazing effects, but not so great for coverage, which is where the white comes in very handy. And I can use the white for coverage and still take advantage of the fabulous translucency of these Prizm Pour paints. So what I'm going to do next is I am literally going to use a spotter brush, even though I said I don't particularly like using them. I don't, but I feel that for the centers, the full-on centers of these sunflowers, a spotter brush is most appropriate. So I'll grab that out. Let me just find the right size that I really want to use. I'm going to try a couple of different brushes. I have a King Art round 10-0, which I'm going to give a try to and see how that comes up. And another Princeton Select, which is also a 10-0, but this one is a liner, so it's actually longer than just a straight spotter or round. But they are both tiny, as you saw, and I am going to grab out a little bit of a greenish colour, a browny green called Sassy Sprite. Let me give it a good shake first, because I want a bit of a green undertone in my flower centers, along with my blacks, of course. So we will mix out some shades with the black and the green. Shades along the spectrum there. Shades and tones. And a little bit of fresh black, so that I have black. Well, because this is going to be a lot of dotting, So I'm wondering if the liner will work better because it can hold more paint, so that in theory I will be able to dot more. However, liners are designed to do lines, so they do have a tendency to want to make that type of a movement, so it might actually end up being easier to just use the little spot around, which I'll give it a go and see. Yeah, it's heaps easier, and I can control the size of my dots much better than the liner. So thank you, liner, but no thank you. You didn't quite do the job the way I needed. And although I have to refill the brush much more often, it is still giving me more of the desired result that I require. As soon as the brush starts drying out, I have to refill because the bristles split and you start to no longer get the circles. From the dots you start to get funny shape edges, and for this center I actually really want dots. So it is important that I keep the brush loaded, which is why I've chosen such a small size brush as well, because I need to keep it loaded, and when it is loaded I want small tiny dots, whereas often when you load a larger brush it's very difficult to get the tiniest of dots. Putting a small fraction of water over the paint to try and help keep it wet, so that it doesn't dry out too much while I'm trying to get all these dots done. So I might end up speeding up this part of the video because it literally is just going to be me. I wasn't going to edit any of it, but I think I will edit this portion of the video because it literally is just going to be me doing dots for a long time. There is no way to shortcut it other than speed it up for you. And of course you can do it at your own time and your own pace. There is nothing more for me to show. I have a mix of green and black to create the dots. I'm going to put some extra green ones in on their own. In this orangey portion I will be putting orange dots of the same colour just to give a bit of extra texture and feel to the centre of these sunflowers. I think that will be most appropriate. And yeah, I think that's about it. So I'll speed it up, put some music on for you all while you don't have to watch me do every single little dot on this piece. But like I said, let's try and raise the vibration of the planet and put out love and peace in the world. For everyone to enjoy. And there we go. I think they're done enough. We can stop there. I hope you've enjoyed this session. I hope you'll come back and join me for the remainder sessions when I get them out there. And I hope you've enjoyed this free offering that I've put out there into the world. And please share the love. Spread it out there as wide as you can. Put it out into the universe. We really need that at this point in time. Thanks very much for joining me. Bye.